welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and I hope you're all having a fantastic Wednesday. I know I am. We are coming to you live here from the Illinois Media School here in Lombard, Illinois. Again, wherever it is, ladies and gentlemen, day or night. I hope it is just right. Whew, and as you can tell, I'm a little excited on this day. If you guys can't tell, if you're watching on the YouTube, well, get ready for this. We're officially back on Facebook, folks. That's right. Back on the Facebook page, going live again. We'll see if this thing stays alive or not. We may crash it. We are simulcasting right now to Facebook and to YouTube, so make sure to check us out on either or. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with me as always is the wonderful, the great, the magnificent man himself, Mr. Drew Gwillem. Drew, how are you doing, man?
Good. I have TV again.
Yes.
It's good.
We have our
nice.
TV back.
It's nice to see what the hell's going on.
Absolutely. We saw the creator of this wonderful studio as well, our man Tom.
Yeah.
We saw him today. It's been a good Wednesday.
Fun little surprise.
Absolutely.
There he is.
But, I mean, with everything we got going on, Drew, are you ready to hit these topics, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do this, folks. And we're going in the quick succession on this one for the Short Range Show. So to start it off, we are talking about the NCAA Tournament, the National Championship. It took place, folks, and obviously if you're somebody in my position, you may not have been as happy, but congratulations to the Kansas Jayhawks as they were able to win the national championship 72-69 to beat the North Carolina Tar Heels. Obviously, very, very good game. It looked very lopsided at the beginning, but obviously Kansas was able to turn it around with an extremely strong effort in the second half. So, Drew, from the get-go, obviously, what was your thought of this game kind of going into the first half? What did you think about it going into the second half? And just an overall, what did you think about how Kansas was able to come back in this thing?
So I know it sounds terrible, but I was unable to watch most of this game.
Yeah.
So for what I can say about it, for UNC to do what they've done in this tournament,
Yeah.
and then get out to the 15-point lead at the start of the half, or the after the first half, didn't really see that coming. And the way they've been playing, you kind of almost expected them to sustain that throughout the second half. And then the best team in the tournament, the winner, Kansas, proved why they're in that position, why they're there, why they were a number one seed, why a lot of people put them as the best team in the tournament. And they came back, largest deficit in tournament history, and ended up winning. They kept it close at the end still, even after the comeback. UNC was still battling. They had some injury problems, which didn't help things, some shooters that went cold. So that's the name of the game, though. You got to be hot at the right time, and it's just the way things play out in the tournament. You know, usually, typically, the better team wins, and even so, UNC showed that they could be one of those teams when until the tournament at the end of the year, they weren't really talked about like a ton. And then they beat Duke, and then they start cruising through the tournament, and then they beat Duke again. And just, come up a little bit short here against Kansas. But, it's kind of the route I expected Kansas to win, but the way it played out and the way they won, having a big comeback like that wasn't what I expected.
Yeah, no, I was in the same. I mean, one of the things that I talked about a lot was obviously, listen, I was very supportive, obviously, this UNC team, very resilient. You beat Duke twice in the same year, and very strong wins, I must say, too. I mean, closer than I might have liked in the Final Four here, but still one of those games that, again, like I said, in years' times, we're going to be talking about this game because that was a fantastic showing on both sides. There was a lot of special play. It lived up to its hype, I would say, absolutely. Kansas obviously went in against Villanova. They did a great job, right? And then you see this game, and from my perspective, UNC played strong defense. They played really well on the offensive side, too. They took great shots when they needed to. I really thought Kansas was out and about, but I also said this, too. Kansas is a second-half team. They've shown in the second half they can come back 47 points later, and they have the lead, and they're winning the national championship. This team just goes to prove why you have to, like we've said many a times, make the adjustments at the second half, right? That's very key and crucial to your game plan. And when I look at that Kansas team, I give them a lot of credit. I give them a lot of props for what they were able to accomplish in that. Obviously, Agbaji, I think, has proved himself to be a guy that certainly a lot of teams are going to take a lot of looks at. I think McCormick also, I had him as my player of the game. He played outstanding in this one. And give it up to the kid, too, Martin, who came off the bench, for those who don't know. Transfer from Arizona State, was a sixth man for this team. Not a lot of people really knew about him. And he was like 3 for 3 from three-point range in the fourth quarter, like 4 for 4 in the field. He was absolutely outstanding in that fourth quarter. So you got to give props to this team where it's due. I don't like it. Yes, as a UNC fan, it hurts.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, though. It's okay.
It's okay.
Because you know what? You lost to a team that I would expect you, and you stayed in the fight. That's the important thing, right? The downside of it is, yes, in those last few seconds, they played sloppy. Those were those air balls or whatever they did at the end of the game. It's not a good look. But I do like listen, you're an 8 seed. Nobody gave you a chance. You're in the national, with a first-year coach. You're in the national championship. That doesn't happen too often.
So I've heard this question going around, and since you're a UNC fan,
yeah,
it's perfect for you.
You hit me with it.
So would you rate this season as a success the way they beat Duke twice? Mm-hmm. And even though they lost, fine, you'd trade the championship for the 2 Duke victories, right, and end in Coach K's career like that?
Yeah.
Would you take that over the championship, or I mean, how would you see that?
I would rather have the championship, and that's just how I play it. Listen, adding another natty to your case is always nice. Beating Duke is nice too. Don't get me wrong. And considering you beat Duke when it's Coach K's last season, it's not maybe. It's a sour ending because listen, yes, as a UNC fan, believe it or not, I have a lot of respect for Coach K and what he's done with that program. You're talking about arguably the greatest college basketball coach, one of the greatest coaches maybe of all time in terms of sports, right? Totally huge success. USA basketball as well. We can't forget about that. Huge success in that route. I mean, he got Kobe and LeBron to somehow play together. That's pretty impressive on its own. But I would trade that for a national title. But even still, I will say that even with what happened, this is success. This is huge. This is what UNC needs as a motivator to say, you know what, going forward, they're going to be okay. They're still going to be a strong program. They're still, yes, these are Roy Williams guys, but Hubert Davis just showed he can coach a team. He can coach a team. And that's worth something noting. So congrats to Kansas. Good on you for winning the national championship. Obviously, next year, it's looking like they might be the favorites to win it again. I've seen Arkansas being another one that's going to be up there. UNC is getting its due. There's a lot of teams next year that are kind of be keeping some guys over, it sounds like, that it's going to be another fun run next year. And I can't wait for March Madness next year. I really can. I'm excited for it. And hopefully everybody can get what they want, all their teams and stuff. I mean, and I'll even say to you, man, you should be proud. Seriously, I mean this. I'm not poking nothing at you. I'm seriously. The way that Michigan was able to come back like that, absolutely, that's huge for them. Yeah. That's huge.
To be preseason ranked 4th in the country, and then to the season to play out the way it did, and then get in, actually be talked about as not even shouldn't even be in the tournament, and then you are, and then you make the little run that they did. Yeah, they did well. They had a lot of good players on their team. It just it didn't all come together.
Absolutely. And so far, no one has yet to announce from Michigan. So returning starters is always a good thing.
I forget who did. Somebody
is there somebody that
somebody did?
Okay. So, but even still, you return most of your starters with Juwan Howard still bringing in yet another good recruiting class. It sounds like possibilities next year are going to be endless, folks. There's a lot of great competition for next year. So excited. Cannot wait. But let's move off of college basketball now that it's unfortunately over, and let's get into the NFL stuff, shall we, my friend?
Oh, yeah, because that becomes before you get to see the tournament again. Okay?
Absolutely. That's very true. And NFL season, we already have, I believe it is the mini camps, if I'm not mistaken, or training or something like that for the new coaches that are officially starting in. So Eberflus is into his work now. You've got Dennis Allen going into his work. All these new coaches are kind of getting their feet in the water a little bit here, so it's going to be interesting. But there's one coach that will not be around apparently next year, and that is Bruce Arians of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a little bit of the older news, but if you haven't heard, Bruce Arians has retired from the Tampa Bay Bucs. He is officially retired as of last week from the Bucs, and Todd Bowles has now been announced as the new coach. And obviously, rumors now have spread.
Collusion! There's collusion, okay?
Love that.
You ever seen the league? Ruxin all the time? Collusion.
Yes, collusion. Yeah. There is collusion.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a lot of rumors flying around as to why this happened. Obviously, all of it seems to be it's something having to do with Brady unretiring and Bruce Arians retiring. A lot of stuff flying around. Is there a rift? Was there some sort of complication? So I ask you this, Drew. What do you think happened? It's all speculation, obviously.
Right.
But what do you think possibly could have happened? Do you think this is a legit, like Bruce Arians is like, I've done what I can and I'm retiring? Or do you think there is something more to this that we're not hearing?
I think it's a little too convenient that Brady announces he's coming back, and what was it, like a day later or whatever? Bruce Arians is like, I'm stepping into the front office, and they're hiring Todd Bowles as the new head coach, right from the organization. You know, they had two guys they could have gone with Leftwich as well if they really wanted to, but either way, he sticks around. So does Todd Bowles. So it's too convenient to not have been like somewhat planned out like this, it seems.
Yeah.
So to me, what I saw or what I heard out there was that Brady decided he had his issues with Arians. So he stepped away thinking like maybe trying to force them into trading him and getting him out of there.
Yeah.
And then they were going to let the organization let that play out for a bit, you know, play their back and forth game.
Right.
And then when some time goes by, then they go back to Brady and they're like, well, what about this? And then maybe this move was discussed together and they all decided maybe this is what's best for the organization, because Arians, even if he's not the head coach, if Tom comes back, that gives them the best chance for that organization to win another ring. And you're still part of the organization. You're still going to be a reason why they win, whether you're in the front office or not. So this move definitely benefits the team. So I think that it had a lot to do with them coming together and kind of talking about it, and that when they realized that Tom wasn't going to get traded, it's like, hey, we could do this for you,
right?
If you want to come back. And then he's like, okay, we'll do that. I'm down with that.
Right.
Because it's still, and he still has his offensive coordinator calling the plays for him. And I feel like Tom basically gets to coach the offense anyways. And not have probably as much pushback with Arians being out of the coaching window there.
Absolutely. Yeah. The whole situation, like you said, is a little bit too convenient, right? It's kind of, I think it was almost like a week later or so, or whatever it was, a few days afterwards, you get the announcement, Arians is retiring. I don't want to jump to the conclusion that there was some sort of rift, but clearly there was differences in how the offense should have been run, right? You even see it, right? The big bombing plays, the big pass to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the deep passes, that's totally Bruce Arians' probably call. I would assume. Maybe it was Byron Leftwich. I don't know, right? But I am assuming that Byron Leftwich does work with Bruce Arians. They've been friends for a long time since they were player and quarterback in the Steelers. I'm assuming their offense might be probably in the same sort of predication. But then you get like Tom Brady, who's like, slants and screen passes and all kinds of stuff like that. That's more of Tom Brady's game. So you wonder, where was the division in who was calling the offense, right? Was it Arians who was trying to be the guy in control? Was it Brady? And the other thing, too, is Brady comes from a different land of preparation, right? He comes from the Belichick where it's like, oh, you got to spend hours and hours upon end of thinking about every detail you possibly can, right? And then you've got Arians who's like, look, if you're here past 6 o'clock, I may fire you. Like, you should not be here past 6 o'clock in the facility. And I understand, like, there's pros and cons to both sides of things. I get that. And I think that's maybe if there was a rift, there probably was. It was the difference of not how the offense was run, but how to prepare for the game, right? Brady is I want to be prepared for every situation kind of guy. Arians is a guy that's like, the game's not that hard. It really shouldn't be viewed that hard. And I think that's where probably the difference of opinions come from. Todd Bowles, by the way, give him credit. Todd Bowles, he's a great guy. I think he deserves another chance, especially with what he did with Tampa's defense.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they bringing him in will be good, right? Focus on the defense. Same kind of mindset as Bruce Arians, but at the same time, we'll prepare a little bit more. We'll be more on Tom's side. We'll let him and probably Leftwich have more control on the offense. But like you said too, why not go for Leftwich if you're so built upon making him obviously the star that he is? We know he's still good. He can still play, obviously. So there's so many questions I think we're always going to have. We're not going to find out till years later. Where everyone's if at all, yeah, of course. It could all be lock and key. Obviously, we know that Tom sometimes doesn't like to say bad things. I still think there might come a time where he's old and he's like, well, I'm at that point where I'm just going to let it all out of the box at this point. So
yep.
Who knows? All I know is that this doesn't change anything for me with Tampa. I still think they're going to be one of the top teams in the NFC. Right there with the Rams. And speaking of the Rams.
Oh, God. How the hell do they just have a limited amount of money?
You just pretend like the salary cap doesn't mean anything, because if you don't know, folks, Bobby Wagner, that's right, star, probably best middle linebacker in the game, Bobby Wagner, is a part of the Los Angeles Rams 5-year, $50 million deal, 65 with incentives and all.
Yeah.
An incredible move by the Rams. It feels like overkill.
You think?
Yeah.
Slightly?
Yeah, slightly.
How many actual number one defenders do they need on their team?
Two, apparently. Three,
Pass
actually.
rusher, corner,
yeah,
linebacker.
They have all the quintessential pieces you need right now to say, yeah, I think with these three guys, we've got half the field. No, not even 2/3 of the field covered at this point.
Yeah, well, I'm just waiting for them to sign Odell Beckham now. He's coming next. Yeah. Let's give him another.
You don't even need him. You might not even have him all year.
You can have another way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We got Allen Robinson, too. There's another weapon.
Cap's just an imaginary number, apparently.
Yeah. No big deal.
Yeah, but Drew, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, is there anybody? I mean, we just talked about the Bucks being one of those top teams in the NFC, but do you see anybody possibly competing with this team, barring the fact that there's nobody that gets injured with some serious injury? We know that can happen, of course.
Right.
But you're talking about one of the top linebackers in the game. But is there anybody that you think can even touch close to the Rams at this point? Not even just in the NFC. Let's even say in all of the NFL. Is there anybody you feel like that can match up with them right now?
Yeah. I think Tampa is right there with them.
Okay.
Tampa has a lot of firepower. They got a lot of their players back. Fournette came back. Their linemen came back. One lineman took off in free agency, but they still have plenty of options there. The offense is high powered. Gronk, yeah, he says he's not sure if he's coming back, but let's get real. If Tom's like, come on, let's go.
Right, yeah.
He'll be there. Okay.
Get your butt over here.
Yeah, and then you look at the Raiders, the Broncos, the Chiefs still. If Miami can get what they need out of Tua, they're a threat.
Yep.
So there's lots of teams that can compete. It's just not in the NFC. I see it as more of a two-team race,
right?
Between Tampa and LA, and then the AFC they have a lot of options out there that are gonna be fighting. Give them a good battle in the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah.
Because between LA and Tampa, I still think LA has the edge, but Tampa's right there.
Okay. It's just Bobby Wagner is.
It's a really nice addition.
It's a really good move.
Yeah.
Where did they get this money? I mean, my goodness, like you said, it doesn't make any sense.
If somebody gets hurt, they'll just trade their first round pick for 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Somebody will take it.
Exactly.
And they'll get somebody at trade deadline.
Absolutely. It feels, for those who don't know, and I'm not dating myself, but I'm throwing it back to a time probably nobody knows. You may know this, though. There was a man by the name of George Allen who used to run the Redskins way back in the day. I'm not saying he's old or anything, folks. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it was in the 60s and the 70s. It's football history. He's a man of football. That's what I'm saying. George Allen, he traded away all draft picks to get a bunch of guys that were already players. That was kind of his thing. It feels like this is the modern day, trade everything away and just go with players that are ready now, which is fine. I worry about their future consistently, though. But they seem to draft so well, and that's like you find a Darius Williams in the draft, and nobody knew who he was, and now he's getting $30 million from Jacksonville. You're clearly good at what you do. You're clearly doing the Patriot thing, which is like later rounds is where we're going to find our guys. First round picks. Let everybody else gamble with that stuff. We'll just jack up the salary prices on everybody and just have an elite team.
I think they're literally going all in on winning now.
Yeah.
And they'll worry about the future when they get there.
Absolutely.
And have to rebuild and be awful for maybe a 5-year stretch or something once they start recouping those picks again. But they're in win now mode, and they're doing everything they have to do to win another championship this coming year.
Yeah. Do not be surprised if when the time comes that Matthew Stafford retires and they have draft picks, they don't start trading away those picks for yet another quarterback to get into that position. Like I couldn't even imagine that they would go like for Mahomes or some crazy.
As long as they are still having the same GM and same head coach, I don't see why the same things wouldn't happen. Yeah. If they can sustain that and keep winning, why not?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, folks. That seems to be their motto at this point. But there was a trade, small trade, but I still think it is a little bit impactful. So obviously we know the Dolphins have kind of just said, yep, load the wagon, giddy up with the receiving core, and they have let go of one of their boys, Devontae Parker, who first-round pick has kind of had an up-and-down career, seems a lot more downs than ups at this point, has been traded to the Patriots for a third-round pick in next year's draft to the Dolphins, or to the Patriots for a third-round pick next year, which is going to the Dolphins. Obviously, the Patriots, they're still trying to load up on weapons. They have Bourne still. They're bringing back Jacoby Meyer. Nelson Aguilar will still be there, along with Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. So they're really kind of loading up the receiving core now, it seems like, for Mac Jones. And for what we know for Devontae Parker, down threat kind of guy, big wide receiver. I'm one who says question on his hands, and obviously injury is a concern. But what do you think about the move to kind of get a deep threat for Mac Jones? Again, I know I've been super critical of him and Tua, and let's get past that already, all right? But what do you think about this move for the Patriots? Do you think this was a solid move for them? Do you think this was a good move for the Dolphins? What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a good move for both sides, really.
Okay.
The Patriots needed a guy to come in and be their number one wide receiver. And while Devontae Parker has dealt with a lot of injuries in the past, he has shown some very good things. So if he could stay healthy, Belichick is a coach that's going to make sure he's in the right position and do the things that are going to help Mac Jones the most, and help the team the most. I don't think they're done at this position. I think maybe this draft coming, there's so many good options. They go that way as well. But to see a guy, I was kind of surprised he went in the same division, but kind of knew that Devontae Parker was going to be shipped out of there just with bringing Tyreek Hill in, the overhaul they did at the wide receiver position for Miami. It's crazy. There wasn't going to be a lot there for him. So it was a guy that definitely they had some value that I think they got a good, decent amount for him. A third round pick's not too bad for a guy that has, like I said, been injured a lot and hasn't been out there totally consistently. Right. So good move for the Patriots getting a guy to come in and help Mac Jones out, big and strong and fast. And then good for Miami and getting their pick that can help them find more talent in somewhere else. Yeah, I absolutely. I mean, I was in the same boat. I thought good move for both of them, right? Dolphins get another draft pick, which is what they need. They just keep loading up the wagon. Obviously, they're packing it on right now, trying to see if this team can actually get into a playoff position. Obviously, they have been winning, but now they're going to see what they can do. New coach and everything. Tyreek Hill's a big move for them. Again, this is Tua's time to shine. It's time to see what he can do. So it's put up or shut up time for Tua. It's time to go. I know you haven't been in the league for very long yet, but with the weapons he has now, there is no excuse for at least being a quarterback that you win because you have all these weapons. It doesn't take much to get these guys the ball at the line of scrimmage or 5 yards out, and they could take it to the house anytime. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's going to be telling. I give it to the Patriots. They get another weapon out there. The one thing I will say, and I mean, doesn't really matter either way to me. I just thought our guy David Dykstra brought it up on when we're doing the radio show for Blow the Whistle. Check him out. Check us out every Monday, 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time. We were talking about this, and he said, why didn't the Packers make a move on him if that's all it's going to cost to get Parker? You're so thin on receiver, and you could have used a guy like him. Granted, I don't know how well it would have went because obviously, again, he has had drop problems, and Rodgers is a guy that if you drop the ball on him, he's a little petty at times, it feels like. And
but at that point, like, he wouldn't have a choice. You don't have much still there.
It's Alan Lazard, and that's it with him. So, or Robert Tonyan, I guess. And I guess Aaron Jones counts as a weapon.
I agree with David that didn't think about that, but that would have been that would have been a really good move for them.
That would have been. I mean,
and it kept them out of the same division. Not that I don't think they're all that worried about New England now after what they've done with their team.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you would think it kind of like those are the two. I feel like Buffalo's definitely got the lock right now at first place, at least to this point. I mean, they just locked up Stephon Diggs on a $104 million extension. Kudos to you, man. Second highest paid wide receiver in the league. Props to you, buddy. But
deserves it.
Absolutely deserves it.
He's been amazing for them.
Absolutely. And I feel like they've got that position locked up right now as like the number one, again, to this point. So I feel like it's the Patriots and the Dolphins right now fighting for it, unless the Jets come out of nowhere. And you never know with this team. You never know.
There's been some DK Metcalf talk about with the Jets.
Although I love the fact that I heard somebody say that I guess the Jets came out and they say they turned down the news. They went after DK Metcalf. And I was like, why? Why would you turn that news down? Why? That's good publicity for you. You're trying to win, right?
Yeah,
you're trying to get
absolutely.
Why would you turn that news down? I would say,
plus he's one of the biggest, strongest wide receiver, fastest wide receivers in the game. That would be a move that the Jets like.
That's a winning move,
especially the way the Seattle's going to be going. They're clearly, by them sitting pat with Drew Lock and didn't even want to try for Baker or anything else like that. That's showing you Drew Lock is our quarterback. We were going to be a losing football team.
Look, I'm saying this for the benefit of the Bears. Make a call. Make a call to Seattle. If it's not even for DK, they're still Lockett. I'm just saying, 2 wide receivers out there. And if it's not, and listen, Packers don't do anything. Because that's over. That's not even fair at that point. But if the Jets are serious, make the call for one of those 2 guys. Bears make the call for one of those 2 guys. That takes your team to the next level and says, okay, we're trying to upgrade. That's what it means. So, but yeah, the Packers missing out on this. This was a cheap opportunity to get a pretty decent wide receiver, a big wide receiver too, 6'3". You want to mess with that? That's an opportunity you can't pass on. That's not a good move.
Maybe they're planning on trying to get his doppelganger from Arkansas.
Maybe it's possible. So we'll see, folks. It's going to be interesting.
And I wish the Bears had a first-round pick.
Yeah, they might. Who knows? There's been some talks. Might be trading into it. We'll see.
I think if that happens, it's just another recipe for disaster.
It might be. Well, you know what? I like where they're headed. Let's just say that for the Bears. Keep on with where you're at, folks. Keep on where you're at.
Wow, we're not doing much.
We're not doing much. But you know what? The not doing much thing, I like that rather than like scramble and try and grab everything you can.
They're not frantic, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
they're shipping the money out. It's again, they're saying oh, hey, guess what? We're gonna have another crap season.
Right.
But we're
gonna try.
We're expecting a crap season, and we're not telling you that we're gonna be competitive and make the playoffs. Like.
Listen, if we
the last Ryan and Matt.
Yeah, right. Listen, we're seeing what the Giants are getting with our draft pick. We see what's out there right now. What could be out there next year is going to be just as good, even though we don't need a quarterback next year. I'm just fingers crossed, I would say. If you can get a wide receiver in this one, maybe a friend of Justin Fields, and next year you're going with a top pick. Maybe, I don't know, get a top defending player that might be coming out next year. There's a couple. You could really do some good things with this team going forward. I'm just saying.
That'd be a real stretch if they were to get him.
I know I've heard a lot of things that he's getting a lot of love right now. I'm hoping for the hope of the city of Chicago that they get, if not him, North Dakota State kid. Because he's huge and he's fast, and I really like that guy. Really like him a lot. All right, well, let's get to this last story, and then we'll get out of here, folks. Just on the real quick side. So if you haven't heard, obviously Washington in an investigation. Shocker, right? I know. Who would have thought?
Corruption in Washington.
Who would have thought?
Oh, my God. This is my shocked face.
Put that on a T-shirt, folks.
Way to go, Snyder. What else you got for us?
Yes, if you haven't heard, so the Commanders apparently are being accused of withholding ticket revenue from opposing teams that came in, the visiting teams, to their to FedEx Stadium, which is unbelievable that they said. Now they have since denied that. Of course, is what they were going to do.
We didn't do it. we thought about it, but we didn't do it.
Right. But Drew, I'll ask you this. Obviously, just another thing getting tacked on here for Washington. It's hard to tell whether or not this is going to be a proven thing or not. This is certainly something that's getting kind of called out at from a former employee of the Redskins. But I ask you this. I know we've said this many a times, but I'll ask you this again. How many more nails in the coffin do we have to put in before we finally see Dan Snyder have to be forced to be sold the team?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a really good question because after every nail, people are asking that same question. Mm-hmm. And then another one comes.
Yep.
And then another one. And nothing seems to be... This isn't something that happens a lot.
Yeah.
The owners aren't typically forced to sell a team, but I'm pretty sure that this is one of those circumstances that it has to be done.
Absolutely.
This dude has been in charge of this team for how long now? And there are horrible, horrendous stories that come out time after time after time. At some point, this rich pig, I guess.
There you go.
Rich pig needs to be put in his place. There's a lot of rich pigs out there that need to be put in their place. Just because you think you have money, you can do whatever the hell you want. Let someone bigger and stronger than you come smack you across the face.
Absolutely.
Or this mob of women that you keep wanting to harass, and these people you try and cheat all come after you for a change, and then see what happens.
It's disgusting to see how this has been going on for so long.
Think your damn money can protect you until somebody bigger and stronger comes and smacks you across the face.
I know this isn't. Listen, Donald Sterling. I know that was horrific. That should never happen.
Yeah.
This guy's taking it like
next
to
level.
That level. Yeah, he's like right there.
That level and further.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the rich owners and everything. I mean, TJ was just a guy who informed me on it, apparently, with the whole Arlington Heights thing. Would you say, TJ, $600 million or something like that? And the taxpayers are going to be on the hook for $400 million of it? Yeah. I'm sorry. What? You can't even split the bill 50-50? That's a lot of money for the taxpayers to come up on when you're a $3.54 billion organization.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. I really do. That's a big no-no in my book. I'm sorry. I love the new stadium. We'd all love it. We've all said we want to see it, but not like that, man. Come on.
I'm pretty sure they owe it to us.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, McCaskey, George, okay? Not having a clue about what you're doing up there when it comes to football.
Unbelievable.
You owe this to us.
Absolutely.
Take care of this. This is your tab.
Oh, yeah,
for sure. You rich prick.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But yeah, in the terms of Washington, by the way, our guy King BMax says, Washington corruption, who could have ever possibly foreseen this? Love that. And he says, I for one am appalled that this could happen on Dan Snyder's watch. Yeah, I am shocked too, BMac. I could not believe such a thing could possibly happen. Honestly, at this point,
he promotes it.
Yeah, seriously, he does. At this point, I can't imagine it would take but one more thing to come out or something to be proven at this point that it's like, all right, enough is enough. Vote him out of the league. Vote him out of ownership. This can't go on much longer. How much more can you take this guy being in control of this football team? Not only has he run it poorly, but he's also had all of these incidents that have occurred over time. And not only that, but it's also been, I'm not going to change the logo. I'm not going to change the name, even though they are clearly offensive to the people that it is supposed to be representing. There's so much wrong with Dan Snyder. If you're going to, one day we're going to do a ranking of the top worst owners at some point. I know we've got emails for that before.
Owner douchebag rating.
Yes, I'd like that. The owner douchebag rating. It'll be anywhere from I don't even know where you would put it to at this point. Who would be like the nice owner at this point in the Mark Cuban? Let's do a Mark Cuban to a Dan Snyder, or we can even go past or go to like a Donald Sterling or something like that. We'll do something like that. But it'll be
some of them are down in the toilet. And staying there.
Some of them are gonna be down there for a while. I just can't wait to see the fallout of this. I'm hoping there will be some sort of fallout. Not gonna hold my breath, obviously, because we know how this stuff can go sometimes. But nevertheless, Washington caught up in another one, folks. Who would have thunk it? And with that, this is
Me,
I would have. Yeah.
I would have.
Raise your hand if you thought Washington Commanders would not be able to command their own team. Yeah. I think all of us say yay. The yays have it. Washington is guilty. There we go.
Man, crooked rich pricks.
Oh, of course, the Capitol. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our show. Obviously, very quick one, but we have to get out of here so the people can do their learning thing. But as always, I'm always glad to do the show. Drew, I'm so glad to have had you on. It's always a pleasure.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. And this was a good day. Feel like for a quick show, we did a good job here. Thank you again so much, man, for being here. I'm glad you could come in here, smile, put on a good face, man. It's always, like I said, I'm always glad to see you, man.
Lots of good stories to talk about here.
Absolutely.
So,
well,
most of them.
Yes, absolutely. Well, unfortunately, Drew will not be here tomorrow.
I will be at the Hawks game.
He will be at the Hawks game, so yeah. I will be here, but I will be here with TJ, and we will do our thing for you, ladies and gentlemen. We will be talking some NBA and baseball for you guys. Just a little bit of a preview for you, ladies and gentlemen. Real quick, too. Just before we get out of here, you got anybody who's winning the Masters before they tee off tomorrow?
Oh,
just a real quick pick before we get out of here.
I'm going long shot. Let's see Tiger. I would love to see. Okay. That'd be an amazing story. I don't think it's going to happen. But
all right,
it would be great to see Tiger win it.
Okay, I'm going with Colin Morikawa as my favorite. I've already put my money on that. Louis Oosthuizen is the other guy that I'm going with, the South American, as my long shot. So, and yeah, I put a little bit of money on Tiger. I mean, everybody is at this point, so.
Might as well.
Be a lot of fun. But Drew, let them know where they can find you, listen to you, all that good stuff, man.
Right here on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And check me out on Instagram at d.gwil25 and Facebook at Drew Gwillem.
There you guys go. Well, make sure to check me out. I'm at TheFluffyGuru on Twitter. You guys can also find me at Boom Crew Captain on Instagram as well. Guys, if you want to see this show, we are officially back on Facebook. That's right. Back on Facebook. We are live streaming to it here, ladies and gentlemen, right now. So if you guys want to catch us back on the live stream on Facebook, make sure to go to facebook.com/TeamXBombSports. Like and follow our Facebook page where you get the updates when we go live. We will also be posting the YouTube link as well because we are simulcasting to YouTube as well at the same time. So hit us there, 5:30, 6:30 p.m., Wednesdays and Thursdays. Check us out there, guys. Also, follow us on our social media at XBomb Sports on Instagram and on Twitter. And if you have any questions or comments, you can hit us up at xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. We want to hear from you guys. Thank you. Keep the questions coming in. We will do more player swap here very soon as well. When we get into it, we're just waiting for the news to kind of ramp down a little bit before we can get back into them. But don't worry, we're going to keep them going, folks. Now, if you want to check out any more of our stuff, you can check out Blow the Whistle. I just mentioned it, the radio show. You guys can hit us up on the radio show, myself, David, and Tyler. We go live on Monday, 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's every single Monday Central Time. Check it out, guys. And if you want to catch us on the TV side, you can hit us up on the TV side. That is Blow the Whistle right here on the YouTube channel for XBomb Sports and on the Facebook page for XBomb Sports as well. We will be back on that too. Check it out on Tuesdays, 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Also, check out Monday Motivation with Hannah B as well. Check it out. It's a great podcast by our very own Hannah Brummer, where she talks about everything that keeps you motivated and positive throughout the day. So if you want to check out something, check it out on Spotify, Odyssey, and iHeartRadio. It's Monday Motivation with Hannah B. Also, too, check out the boys at the Parlay, don't forget to check her out at 102.3 XLC. Sorry, TJ. 102.3 XLC, the afternoon drive. She does the 3 to 7 p.m. Central Time. Mark, she's done a great job. She's killing it. She's doing a great job, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure to check that out. Also, check out the guys at the Parlay. It's our guy Tilo, Tony Lopez, and our boy Kendall Gill, who is a former Chicago Bull and professional boxer. They talk everything in combat sports, so make sure to go follow them at theparlay.com. And two, if you need anything for your needs for fantasy football, check out the Fake Football Guys. Our guys Dustin and JC gives you all the knowledge that you need for your fantasy football needs. So check them out again. It's at the Fake Football Guys on YouTube, folks. And that is going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, this has been a quick one. I'm glad to be back here on Facebook. I'm glad to be on YouTube. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as always, much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.